I'm going to talk about The Bunny Game. It's interesting to know that over the past few years, the British Board of Film Classification has rejected an average of 1 to 2 films a year, and The Bunny Game happens to be one of them. The BBFC refused to give The Bunny Game a certificate, so it cannot be legally supplied anywhere in the UK. And if you're curious to investigate how they reached such a bizarre decision, you can read all about it online at their website, bbfc.co.uk. Apparently, the director Adam Remier had no scripts for this film, although he had bullet points for every day of shooting. He wanted to make a film that feels real, and he admits the end result is different from what he planned. However, I don't know what his original plan was. In the making of, he explains he had no crew which he preferred because without the luxuries that larger budget productions have, like Winnebagos and pampering for the actors, his film set will be the best depressing environment for the actors to work in. And he may have a valid point about the funds splashed out on treating actors like porcelain. The actress Rodleen Getzik, who stars in the film, actually influenced how the story rolls because it's based on her own real-life experience. If you decide to watch this production, you'll notice her surname Getzik is tattooed along her arm, and she's also credited as a producer. I understand that the director wanted events in this film to be real, improvised and disturbing as possible for a horror film. Now, what's correct about this particular production is 4 observations. First off, the music is strong, aggressive and works well, and it's also created by the director himself. And the second observation is the film has no colour, just filmed in black and white, which is nice to see. The third correct idea is that there are moments of people just thinking and living in the moment, which is down to good direction. And the fourth interesting observation is that there's actually no blood or gore, which was surprising. There's a small robbing of a bag scene in a bedroom that stayed with me. It's a very cold act, executed in a way as if you're in the room as well with your hands tied up, unable to help or shout. And there's also many sections in this film that come across like a very nasty, disturbing MTV music video. Rodleen Getzik has her first film experience here, and she was up for anything and wanted to live the part, so she started off by starving herself well before filming began. Her inexperience of working in a film and wanting to be open to whatever the director instructed must have been a dream come true for the director, because most other experienced actresses would have turned down degrading and humiliating scenes, which make up for the majority of this film. There's a powerful shaving of her head hair scene, which is one of the worst acts of humiliation for a woman to go through. This is probably a marketing trick, but in the making of, they say she was actually branded in this film like an animal. And at the start of the film, the lead actress is giving a choking blowjob, and this can almost make you think you're watching a nasty porn flick instead. Now, perhaps it's just marketing and the dildo was used and the branding was just glue makeup, whatever. In the end, so what? This is a way of attracting attention. It's not a big deal anymore. Any kind of shock marketing has been done so many times before, to the point you're only going to get seriously noticed if your film's strapline is something along the lines of "all actors in this film have been killed, for real." The fact that this film was made up as they filmed along shows, and the director should have made the flow of the film change its single pattern, because after 45 minutes I was really bored. The film is what it is, a long drawn out series of humiliation towards a vulnerable, desperate young woman. What's interesting is the original actor who was going to play Rodleen Getzik's captor pulled out at the very last minute before filming, and I wonder if he realises that's one of the best career decisions he's ever made. At the end of watching The Bunny Game, I felt empty. I expected a unique journey, but was fed instead an MTV-like glossy advert about crazy, mentally damaged people taking drugs, having loveless sex in their small bubble of hell. So be prepared to be in a bad mood afterwards for watching a film without depth or interesting dialogue. Now, to be fair, yes, the director had creative intentions, but he's ended up with a boring piece of filmmaking which will gain underground status because of other reviews and shock tactic marketing. Now, if the director was a more experienced and imaginative individual, he would have included interesting, thought-provoking dialogue with extra clever scenes. Now, Stanley Kubrick could get away with making a lovely, simple meal of a movie because all the flavours were consistently beautiful. However, the director of the Bunny Games meal is pre-packed and tastes awful. There's an opportunity here to make a genuinely intelligent, controversial and powerful film, but Death Mountain Productions missed the boat on this one big time. The endless cruelty towards women on screen has no impact because you have zero empathy for the characters. The director has not managed to engage you with any depth of character apart from an endless downward spiral of isolated torture. It's treading on what's been done before many times and without giving us a different view. Now, if the two leading roles were reversed, so the woman is the one dishing out the torture, then that might have earned it a few extra points, but then again, that's been done before. Now, I know it's easy to take negative shots at films just for not being original, and it's not an easy task at all for any production company, writer, or director to strike that unique original idea, but my point is this. With so many wonderful film works available to be inspired and influenced by, just try to put your own stamp on it, twist it on its head, chop and change something that will make the audience go somewhere that's familiar yet exciting. You may take us on the same journey, but experience, imagination and risk-taking will take us along that journey via an alternative route. If you want to watch something that will demonstrate what I mean, then watch the genuinely awesome and disturbing film Martyrs instead.